Tonight, clientele concerns.
It's very concerning for us, for Manitobans.
A new controversy emerges over the province's first supervised consumption site amid worries minors and pregnant women will be able to use drugs at the facility. Also tonight,
that I intend to run as an independent and sit as an independent from this point forward. Here are the documents.
we hear from another PC MLA about his decision to leave the party. Plus, egg uncertainty.
It's coming. The prices won't necessarily get down.
What the conflict in the Middle East means for Manitoba farmers as fertilizer prices start to climb.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Manitoba's supervised consumption site, which the province says will open in a few weeks, is at the center of controversy once again tonight. This time, it's over a proposed intake form the opposition Progressive Conservatives got their hands on through an access to information request. To explain more, CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now live. So Harrison, what's on this form that's raising concerns?
A number of things, Marilee, but the part drawing the most questions is the section which asks visitors to check a box if they are at a higher risk. The options available include pregnant, a youth, or a first-time drug user. Another question, the types of drugs being used, listing 40 drugs, including bath salts, meth, and fentanyl. The minister in charge calls the move fear-mongering.
We know that these centers, these places are going to be surrounded by drug dealers, by people who want to take advantage of the people in that area.
The battle over Manitoba's first safe consumption site continues. In a media release from the Tories on Monday, the opposition released 2 documents obtained through access to information requests. An intake form originally intended for the 200 Disraeli Freeway site, where it was abandoned before moving to 366 Henry Avenue. The form asks if the user is at a higher risk, listing factors like pregnancy, youth, and being a first-time drug user. The PCs described that as, quote, the most disturbing section.
They will not turn away first-time users. They will not let your parents know. They will show you how to do the drugs. Minister of Housing, Addictions and Homelessness Bernadette Smith called it fear-mongering.
When we hear, the PCs fear-mongering and, talking about children doing drugs, we need to really ask, the Conservatives, should we be making sure that we are connecting people to services?
Elaine Hishka is Canada Research Chair in Health Systems Innovation. She says the consumption service is a health service, and these questions will inform the staff providing care.
Those are very normal questions that I would expect to be asked at any supervised consumption service, as well as any other health service operating in Canada.
Joseph Forey is with Singing Red Bear Foundation. He says he is for harm reduction, but not safe consumption sites.
I stand here as a grieving father who's lost a son to a fentanyl poisoning. And I stand here today to tell you that this site is not going to help Winnipeggers. It's not going to help Manitobans.
When asked whether minors will be able to use the center, Addictions Minister Smith was adamant they won't. She says there will be a check-in process where visitors will have to present themselves to staff, and if they are found to be a minor, they will be referred to a different resource. As the minister agreed, a supervised consumption site is not an appropriate place for them. However, and this is where it gets a little bit murky, because ID is not required, so if a minor doesn't identify themselves as such and says they are older, it will be at the discretion of staff on whether or not to allow them inside to use drugs. And we should note, Marilee, we reached out to the Aboriginal Health and Wellness Center today, who will be making those decisions, but we were unable to get in contact with anyone.
All right, Harrison, what does the Premier have to say about all of this?
Well, Premier Canoe said he doesn't approve of drug use at any age, but the reality is that people use them. The government says a site is needed to address the growing number of overdose deaths and reduce public drug use. The site will not provide drugs, but will provide a space to use them. Khan says the center is a recipe for disaster.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. Well, in a rare move, a PC MLA is leaving his caucus to sit as an independent. Dawson Trail MLA Bob Lagasse left the chamber in shock today when he made the announcement, and he plans to run again in the next election. To explain all of this for us tonight, CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So, Jeff, what prompted this?
Yeah, Lagasse did provide a couple of reasons as to why he did this. He says his constituents deserve an independent voice, not party directives. And he says that they need an independent voice.
PC MLA Bob Lagasse stunned the legislative chamber with this.
It's with a bit of regret and not so much of a heavy heart anymore that I'm going to table the following documents that indicate that I intend to run as an independent and sit as an independent from this point forward.
The MLA representing Dawson Trail east of Winnipeg since 2016 is leaving the PC caucus to serve and run independently in the next election. Lagasse says his constituents need a voice that answers to them, not party directives.
There's also some things in behind the scenes that were causing some issues.
Many in the constituency had environmental concerns about a proposed CO silica project. Last year, Manitoba's ethics commissioner found PC MLA Jeff Wharton violated the conflict of interest law for trying to push it through. Lagasse says Wharton should have been removed from caucus.
I felt there were a couple moves that should have been done that weren't done.
Lagasse, who has been open about his own mental health, says he was also uncomfortable with a gesture PC leader Abhi Khan made last October in the chamber, where Khan mimicked shooting himself in the head.
There were things like that led me to believe if I was in necessarily the right environment.
Khan apologized for the gesture at the time, and on Tuesday thanked Lagasse for his service and says he respects his decision and says he is confident in their group and the work they're doing.
If somebody believes that that's not represented within our team, then that's their prerogative. Like I support as leader the ability for members to exercise their own independence, for them to make their own decision. We're not going to force anyone to stay.
This comes days after first-term PC MLA Richard Pershot announced he is not running again in Selkirk.
Manitobans deserve to get some answers from the leader of the opposition as to why people are fleeing his caucus.
Very, very rare that you see that. I don't even know if I've actually seen that somebody voluntarily leaving a caucus.
And Lagasse also says his constituency association team of 6 has also stepped down and resigned and will be supporting him.
Jeff, how difficult is it going to be to run as an independent in the next election?
It can be very challenging running as an independent. You don't have that party machine behind you like the PC candidate will. That being said, Lagasse is obviously known in the community. That could help him. And you could see a vote split between himself and the PC candidate, and that could help the NDP. The NDP finished a close second there last time.
Yeah, interesting to see how it all shakes out. Thanks, Jeff. The province is expanding transitional housing in the Interlake to help those in crisis. It's spending $4 million to fund 10 furnished studio apartments in the region. The transitional housing units are intended to support marginalized people moving away from violence or leaving emergency shelters. The provincial government is partnering with the Manitoba Métis Federation and the Infinity Women's Secretariat on the initiative. Firefighters in Osborne scaled a building to lend a hand to those in need today, except in this case, the building was its own fire hall, and they're not coming down all week. Firefighters at Station 4 in Osborne Village are once again taking part in the Fill the Boot campaign in support of Muscular Dystrophy Canada. Members will be camped out on that rooftop until Friday, literally lowering this boot down to street level to collect donations from those passing by. The money helps fund research, support programs, and purchase equipment for those affected by neuromuscular disorders.
For work, we go meet people when they're having their roughest moments and they're needing help, and it's so nice to be able to see the opposite side of that, where it's smiles, it's everyone's happy to see you. You know, when we're out in the streets, there people are smiling and waving. You know, the amount of positivity we get from Winnipeggers is just insane.
Now, to date, organizers have raised more than $1.2 million through the annual campaign. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. What are those firefighters on the rooftop going to be dealing with weather-wise tonight?
Well, before too long, a band of snow. And I know you're thinking, come on, it was bright and sunny all afternoon, and last hour it was still very sunny out there, lots of blue sky. Some clouds starting to roll in ahead of this band of snow. It's been traveling across southern Manitoba all day long. It's passed through Dauphin, it's passed through Brandon. It's making its way through the Portage-La Prairie area, and we're on deck here in Winnipeg. There's not much to it, but I'll have more details on that and then what comes next as we look toward the rest of the week. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, clouds starting to build up. It's -3 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest at 14 kilometers an hour, giving a wind chill that makes it feel more like -8. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 66%.
Thanks, Colleen. Manitoba's police watchdog is not recommending charges after a man died shortly after being arrested in 2023. The incident happened in October of that year when police responded to a man acting erratically in traffic on Sherbrooke Street. During the arrest, the man began having trouble breathing before being transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Independent Investigation Unit of Manitoba says multiple officers and 16 civilian witnesses provided statements as part of its investigation. The autopsy indicated the cause of death was restraint complicated by cocaine intoxication and an enlarged heart. After consulting with the Manitoba Prosecution Service, the IIU says the standard for prosecuting charges has not been met. Ahead of a new growing season, farmers across Manitoba are voicing their concerns about what's growing out of the war in Iran. Fertilizer prices have skyrocketed in addition to the cost of fuel climbing. And as CTV's Joseph Bernacki explains, stockpiling before the price went up may have saved thousands.
Andrew James and his brother farm 3,000 acres of grain in Enola. Last year, they bought enough fertilizer to get through this year's growing season. Luckily, that was before prices skyrocketed due to the war in Iran.
My fertilizer bill for that was around $350,000. If I would try and lock that in today, it would be $140,000 higher.
The brothers also help out at their dad's farm, here inside the perimeter. This farm has some fertilizer, but they may need to buy more. Last year, it was $750 a ton. Now, $1,150. James says he's glad he listened to an advisor last year. If he hadn't, his fertilizer would cost nearly $500,000.
I locked 100% of my needs up. $140,000 extra would make for not a very fun year. You'd really be looking for opportunities to sell grain that can make you a profit when you buy these high-priced urea tons.
Kevin Peters runs a pork and grain farm west of Steinbach. He says the war has cut off the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for the type of fertilizer farmers need. He also locked in early, but prices could balloon by the end of the season.
It is another blow, obviously. For a lot of us, we've pre-purchased fertilizer. We already have it in the bin. The prices won't necessarily get down come fall again.
If this drags out further, then it's going to have bigger impacts on availabilities, capacity for farmers to get that fertilizer on this spring.
Jill Verwey, president of Keystone Agriculture Producers, hopes the conflict will have a quick resolution, saying prairie growers are already facing challenges. As James points out, the war has driven up gas costs, which could cost him an extra $40,000. He says for those who didn't buy early, it may be time to look at what you're planting in the ground.
If I can't get a return on investment from urea, I'm changing crops to crops that would grow that would use less nitrogen.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
More bus shelters in Winnipeg will soon have their glass panels swapped out for a stronger alternative. This after the city says a pilot project showed encouraging results. It installed polycarbonate panels at 22 bus shelters last fall as part of the pilot. Of the panels it installed, which it says are 250 times more impact resistant than glass, only one had to be replaced due to a vehicle collision. Well, the city says the panel actually survived the crash. It was stolen before crews arrived. The city plans to install the new panels to 53 more shelters this year, which are 15% more expensive than safety glass. Construction of a new elementary school is underway in West St. Paul's Meadowlands community.
And very soon, this plot of land that we're all standing on will be home to a new school, more than 82,000 square feet of modern, flexible learning space, including new classrooms, gymnasium, multi-purpose rooms, specialized areas for programming.
The dual-track French immersion school is expected to have an initial capacity of 675 students, with accommodations allowing for up to 800 students. The K-8 school will also include a child care facility with 134 spots for infants and school-aged kids.
École Meadowlands will serve the Meadowlands neighborhood and surrounding areas, significantly reducing bus times for hundreds of children. That means more time for after-school activities and stronger connections right within this Meadowlands community.
The school will also include a geothermal heating system to reduce its operating costs. It hopes to start welcoming students in September of next year. People in and around Selkirk will soon have access to a much wider selection of books and study space.
This is not just an investment in today, but an investment into the future.
Today, officials announced a major expansion of the Gaynor Family Regional Library in Selkirk. The project is expected to double the library's square footage, including space for a new children's area, a community meeting space, and study areas. It will also support shelves for some 20,000 more books.
The City of Selkirk, the RM of St. Andrews, the Village of Dunnottar, and the RM of St. Clements. We came together because we knew that what's good for this library is good for all of us.
Officials say the expansion will help meet growing demand for the library, which saw some 150,000 visitors in 2024. It was made possible by $600,000 in provincial funding through the Manitoba Growth, Renewal and Opportunities for Municipalities program. The Winnipeg Humane Society is cutting back its hours partly because of rising costs. The Winnipeg Humane Society will be closed on Monday starting April 27th. The animal shelter is also reducing its weekday hours, opening at noon instead of at 11. A spokesperson for the shelter says the change will help focus more resources on animal care and its services. According to the shelter, Mondays typically see the least adoptions, and the move is in line with other shelters across the country. It says the public will still have ample opportunities to make adoptions. Still to come tonight, watching and waiting.
The amount of stress and uncertainty that we have to go through is unbelievable.
As war rages back home, what comes next for the thousands of Iranian students studying in Canada? Plus, a local effort to create a national silver alert system takes a big step forward. Those stories and more when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil lost $11. The Canadian dollar improved slightly. Gold jumped $138. The TSX added 81 points. The Dow Jones fell 34 points, while the Nasdaq closed 1 point higher. A new survey suggests Canadians remain passionate about exploring new destinations, but changing global dynamics are reshaping how and where they travel. CAA's TravelWise national survey found more than half of Canadians say geopolitical and economic factors such as instability abroad, a perception of the U.S. being less welcoming, and rising travel costs are influencing where we travel. Just 22% of respondents plan to visit the U.S., while 40% are opting to stay within Canada or explore international destinations. A Manitoba MP has introduced a bill aimed at creating a national silver alert system. A silver alert would be similar to an amber alert, except it would be issued when a vulnerable adult goes missing. It was introduced by Kildonan St. Paul MP Raquel Dancho. The proposal was prompted by the disappearance of 81-year-old Earl Moberg back in 2023. He's never been found and is presumed dead. Moberg's daughter, Britt, collected a petition with more than 7,300 signatures calling for a national silver alert system. The same petition last year garnered some 4,600 signatures, but the 2025 election call forced the family to start all over. That bill is now expected to be debated later this year. In Washington, conflicting messages about when the war in Iran will end. President Donald Trump warned Iran not to interfere with international oil shipments, now saying he expects the fighting to end very soon. Joy Malbon is in Washington with more.
The Pentagon with new video bombing Iran's missile launchers and destroying their ammunition stockpiles. A fresh round of attacks. The U.S. says it has hit more than 5,000 targets, including 50 vessels.
Today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says Iran is badly losing and there will be no let-up. This as the Trump administration is sending mixed messages when the conflict will end. The president suggested the war's goals were pretty much complete, telling Republicans,
I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. How good is our military, right?
Trading threats on social media, Trump told Fox News he's not happy with Iran's new supreme leader, a hardline cleric and son of the assassinated Ayatollah Khamenei, saying, I don't believe he can live in peace. Iran's security chief shot back, warning the U.S. president, be careful not to get eliminated yourself. This after Trump threatened to rain fire and fury on Iran, warning the regime against stopping the world's flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, now at a standstill and sending gas prices soaring. But the White House insists that won't last long.
U.S. military is drawing up additional options following the president's directive to continue keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. I will not broadcast what those options look like, but just know the president is not afraid to use them.
So when will it all end? The White House and Secretary of War both say that's up to President Trump to determine when Iran is no longer a direct threat to America. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
In addition to the 7 American military members killed in the war with Iran, the Pentagon has revealed new numbers on the U.S. troops who've been wounded. 140 soldiers have been injured since the massive U.S.-Israel combat operation began more than a week ago. 8 service members have suffered severe injuries, while 108 have already returned to duty after treatment for minor injuries. Iranian students in Canada face both fears for their loved ones back home, but also concerns about their own financial situation and future in this country. CTV's Jean-Pierre Beauchemin spoke to students in Montreal about how they're coping and how a professor is trying to help.
Hours that Nassim Ghoshavi and Negim Garamani planned to devote to their studies are now spent in fear.
The amount of stress and uncertainty that we have to go through is unbelievable and something that I was not prepared for.
They worry for their families, face financial turmoil, and fear for their future. The last census found there were more than 20,000 post-secondary students from Iran in Canada, pursuing dreams of higher education abroad. But now as bombs hit, the internet is often cut off. They have little communication with loved ones in Iran. And they were often a lifeline to help pay for tuition and for the high cost of food and housing.
We just came here with one suitcase.
Ghoshavi is a PhD student in oral health sciences who has worked with NGOs.
We sold our house in my country, home Iran. And we came here with some savings, but you know it's not enough.
I was able to pay my tuitions for this semester, but I had friends who were not able.
And Gahamani is a master's student in dental sciences. She says the door is closed to their country at war. They say they received a letter yesterday warning against taking part in protests against the regime.
If you come back to your country, Iran, you will be executed.
A McGill professor is setting up a fund to help some international students pay for tuition, but students hope the university could extend some deadlines for payments and some assignments while so much of their thoughts are on Iran.
I am really concerned about the people in Iran. They are risking their lives and yeah.
And so the students are hoping to find a way to make ends meet, to finish their degrees, and to close this frightening chapter. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Shots were fired at the U.S. consulate in Toronto early this morning. It follows shootings recently targeting local synagogues. Toronto's mayor believes they might be linked to the tensions rising from the Iran war.
This morning, the U.S. consulate was shot at. This comes after shootings at synagogues over the past 2 weekends. This cannot stand. Toronto's Jewish community has the right to practice their faith and culture. and to live their day-to-day lives without fear, intimidation, or violence. As we have seen too many times, anti-Semitic incidents spike when international tensions rise.
Police were called to the consulate around 5:30 this morning for reports of shots fired. There were no injuries. Police say a white Honda CRV was spotted approaching and then stopping outside the consulate. Police presence and security have been increased at both the U.S. and Israeli consulates in Toronto. The family of a 12-year-old girl injured in the Tumbler Ridge shooting has filed a civil lawsuit against OpenAI. Maya Gabala was critically injured after being shot several times. The lawsuit alleges OpenAI was aware the killer had been planning an attack, but failed to alert authorities. OpenAI says it will make changes to help prevent similar tragedies in the future. 8 people were killed in the shooting last month in BC. The man known as the Monster of Miramichi has died in a prison in Edmonton. 78-year-old Alan Legay killed and raped 5 people in New Brunswick in the late 1980s. He escaped from custody in 1989 and terrorized the region of northeastern New Brunswick for 7 months before he was stopped by police. Well, if you thought you saw something strange in the sky, you are not alone. More than 1,000 UFO sightings were reported across Canada last year.
Look at it, it's behind the tree. What is that?
According to the 2025 annual Canadian UFO survey, the 1,052 UFO reports came from every province and territory. Most involve bright lights or unusual movement in the night sky. Experts say many are later identified as satellites, aircraft, or drones. But every year, a small number of sightings remain unexplained.
It's just great to get them outside, get them enjoying the outdoors.
Reeling in some fun. Why hundreds of high school students traded in their books for fishing rods today.
Perhaps not a UFO, but there might be snow in the sky over Winnipeg and other parts of southern Manitoba on Thursday. A mild high of -1, -8 on Friday. So in behind that system, some colder air, increasing cloud throughout the day, brightening up and cooling off on the weekend. -8 again on Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, but we drop down to -19 and it's going to get colder yet. -11 during the day on Sunday, down to -22 Sunday night, back up to -10 under a mix of sun and cloud Monday, and then another night dropping down to around -20 degrees.
We often hear kids spend most of their time in front of screens these days, but students from dozens of high schools spent the day in front of a fishing hole instead. They were taking part in the annual Manitoba High School Ice Fishing Championship. CTV photojournalist Jamie Dowsett angled to cover the tournament for us and reeled in this story.
Yeah, so the first horn blast goes at 9:30. All the kids line up right behind me here. Not everybody makes it right for the start, but we probably had 1,000 kids there, and we coach them up a little bit.
Me and my friends, he took all the gear. You know, I'm a running back in football, so they just sent me to go sprint out with the lines. So I sprinted all the way to the corner.
You can't see anything going on. It's just
everyone running, yeah.
Collège Belleville, 41 total inches.
I think especially now with like screens and all those things, it's hard to get outside as often, and especially in high school, it's just so busy, and so it's nice to get outside and get to know different people from different schools.
I think it's just great to get them outside, get them enjoying the outdoors. They live in Manitoba. They should be able to enjoy the outdoors throughout the entire year.
I've caught 2 fish. I caught a 16.5-inch walleye and a 27-inch pike.
Hang out with your friends? Yeah. Cool. Fun. You come, spend the day out on the ice, hang out with your friends, have a good time, have a pulled pork sandwich. Any day on the ice is better than in school. So. Yeah, that's what our teacher said. True.
I ran a divisional derby for a number of years for St. James, and then we decided to open it up provincially, so open to anybody, any Manitoba high school, and we got about 77 here today. We're seeing the trend getting reversed right now. Kids are more willing to spend some time outside, and they're actually thirsty for some of those skills.
I think that's on my ice.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen, I know it's March, but we love to read every month around here. And today I was at Marion School. A big shout out to all my new friends in grade 1 and 2 at Marion School. I loved reading with you, and they really do love to read there, Colleen, so we had a lot of fun. Those ice fishers today also had not too bad weather to be outside and not inside a classroom.
That's right, students and teachers alike, evidently, so good for them. That looks like it was a lot of fun. Some great photography there, too, by our Jamie Dowsett with that drone. If you are keeping your eyes peeled on the skies, you might be looking at this guy coming along. It's been sunny all day long, and even in the 5 o'clock hour, bright and sunny, and I was showing you this on the radar, and hard to fathom that there was snow falling in Portage La Prairie when there was really nothing happening over Winnipeg. Well, that is about to change. This is a very minor disturbance called a short wave. It's going to pass on through pretty quickly. I mentioned earlier, late this morning into the noon hour, it was passing through Dauphin. Then after that, it was Brandon's turn. Up next, Portage La Prairie, just leaving that region now and heading into the Winnipeg area. In the north, where it's clearest, that's where it's going to be coldest tonight, and that's where cold warnings continue issued by Environment Canada for the Brochet and Tuduli Lake regions. Wind chill values again tonight expected to push minus 45, minus 50 into early Wednesday morning, and those cold warnings expected to continue on Wednesday. Here's a look at that band of snow as it moves along, and it will break down too. This isn't even particularly much to start out with, but over the next couple of hours, you see I advanced the future cast just an hour or two. That's where it swings through Winnipeg and the Red River Valley, further off into the southeast, and then over the border into northwestern Ontario, but there's not much to it at that point. Fairly clear throughout the rest of the province. Oh, we will see some cloud here in the south overnight. Watch out for fog developing overnight in the southwest. Now, in addition to that, you might get a flurry or two popping through. Might come through first in Brandon and Neepawa this evening, overnight through Dauphin and Swan River, but there's another short wave coming through that could bring a few more flurries or light snow to southern Manitoba tomorrow. There's a chance of it, and again, it won't be very much. But what's more substantial is out over Montana and Alberta. A low is going to develop on Wednesday into Thursday. That is going to head east, and the way it plays out now in the future cast, it keeps it pretty much out of Manitoba for now. Other forecast models have a different opinion on how that's going to track, and it looks like, according to those models, we could see some of that snow come into Winnipeg and southern Manitoba. TBD, we'll see how it develops. Minus 16 our overnight low tonight, with that evening snow popping through in the next hour or two. Behind that, partly cloudy skies, light winds out of the northwest at 10 kilometers an hour. Minus 13 in the morning for the commute, mix of sun and cloud, up to minus 6 under a continued mix of sun and cloud and light winds out of the northwest. Where it's clearest, it's coldest up in the northeast, as cold as minus 36 in Churchill. Island Lake, you could catch a few flurries. Thompson, minus 32. Sunny there tomorrow, but Churchill just minus 28. A few clouds tonight over Flin Flon and the Paw, minus 23 there. Minus 32 for Lynn Lake. That light snow falling around Norway House, that will end this evening. Sunshine around the region, milder temperatures on Wednesday. In the southwest tonight, flurries possible this evening for Brandon, a little later for Dauphin and Swan River. And then into tomorrow, we'll have highs around minus 4, minus 5. Again, with a few flurries possibly popping through with that next shortwave. Winnipeg in the southeast, partly cloudy tonight after that band of snow moves through this evening. Overnight lows, minus 15, minus 16, closer to Winnipeg. You may see some flurries in Portage and Morden and Winkler tomorrow with that disturbance. Mix of sun and cloud for Winnipeg and minus 6, and in northwestern Ontario. Clearest around Kenora, down to minus 15, cloudier for the rest of the region, and then sunshine for everyone on Wednesday. Our first weather photo is by Dwayne. Dwayne was out in the Carberry region over the weekend and took that lovely photo. And this handsome fella, well, this is Duke, enjoying the sunshine and the snow north of Minnedosa. That photo is from Carol. Send us yours by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. The Winnipeg Jets homestand continues tonight as the team plays host to the Anaheim Ducks, and they're hoping to make it 4 in a row with a playoff spot still within reach. After a rocky start to the season, head coach Scott O'Neill says things are finally starting to click.
Playing faster. Really, playing faster, with and without the puck. It's something we had talked about, those opportunities to practice during the break, just trying to get a whole lot quicker in a lot of areas. And there's a lot of fast teams in this league, and just something that, some areas we looked at, whether that was a little bit of our neutral zone forecheck, even our full zone forecheck, getting out of our end, transition, those type of things.
And speed will definitely be a factor tonight. Arniel says after last month's 5-4 overtime loss to the Ducks, it's clear if they want to see how Anaheim is going to play the puck, it's already too late. The Jets have had a surprisingly strong run coming out of the Olympic break, and forward Kyle Connor credits that to a more aggressive style of play.
Playing quicker. It starts with our breakouts in our own zone. When we have possession, getting the wingers out, kind of stretching the zone allows us to, create that space for our centerman. Is doing a great job coming low and slow and helping our D-men out. And, you're cleaner with the breakouts. It helps speed up everywhere on the ice.
Connor Hellebuck is expected to get the start in net. Puck drop at Canada Life goes at 7:30.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special.
Honestly, this has been a real nightmare trying to get this car repaired.
High-tech vehicles highly vulnerable to being written off. Why relatively small accidents can mean it's game over for your vehicle. Today's vehicles are safer than ever before because they're loaded with new technology designed to keep you in your lane, control your speed, and prevent crashes. But all of these advances come at a price, and now more insurance companies are writing off vehicles after only minor crashes. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
Honestly, this has been a real nightmare trying to get this car repaired.
Teresa Baton of Mississauga says she parked her BMW sedan in front of her bank, went in to do some business, and when she came out, it had been sideswiped by another vehicle.
I walked over to my car and I could not believe how much damage was done to the front driver's side fender.
The car is a 2011 BMW 328i with 213,000 kilometers. Despite being a bit older, Baton says she recently spent $10,000 on repairs on the car, and it was in excellent condition. That's why she was shocked to be told by her insurance company it was considered a total loss and would be written off.
The first thing they want to do is write off my car. And I said, no, that's unacceptable.
Baton says she was presented with a settlement offer of $8,900, which she refused. After more than 2 months of negotiations, she's holding firm she wants her car fixed.
If my car was completely damaged and not drivable, then yes, that would make sense. But the car starts and it drives.
The Automotive Industries Association of Canada recently told CTV News cars are being deemed a total loss more often due to expensive parts and delays to get them. Repairs have also increased in price, and so have rental car costs. Safety systems using cameras, radar, and sensors are also expensive to replace.
Total loss is typically just the most economical way to settle the claim. It's just a mathematical decision.
Baton is with TD Insurance. When we reached out to TD, a spokesperson said claims are assessed individually based on the details and terms of the policy. This matter has been resolved after working directly with our client. TD told Baton it would now repair her car instead of writing it off, which was great news for her.
Thank you, CTV. My car is getting repaired. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. So excited.
It's still not fully understood what's causing the rise in colorectal cancer among younger adults, but emerging evidence suggests what we eat may play a big role.
We have been really focused on trying to understand what causes colorectal cancer for a number of decades.
That's Dr. Shanaz Sultan with the University of Minnesota, who says some factors cannot be changed, such as genetics, age, or having certain medical conditions. But there are lifestyle choices that can increase the risk of developing colorectal cancer. That includes having obesity, little physical activity, smoking, excessive alcohol, and a diet high in red meat and low in fiber, fruits, and veggies. Consuming a lot of ultra-processed foods is also emerging as a risk factor.
Home-cooked meals are an easy way to minimize the intake of ultra-processed foods because you can control what ingredients you're putting into your food and what you're putting into your body.
Sultan says it's important to read labels before buying food and to focus on eating whole foods. The most severe brain injuries were once thought of as a death sentence, but now that's changing. Mandy Gaither explains.
It's called a penetrating traumatic brain injury and can be caused by gunshot wounds, stabbings, falls, or accidents involving sharp objects.
There's sometimes been a view that if someone's got a penetrating brain injury, it's a very severe injury, and that a lot of those patients can't be salvaged.
Dr. Gregory Harlock with Cleveland Clinic is senior author of these updated Brain Trauma Foundation guidelines aimed at saving the lives of those with some of the most severe penetrating brain injuries. He says this is the first change in decades to the recommendations for doctors on how to care for these patients.
In the military, a lot of patients are shot with very high caliber military weaponry, much more powerful things than we tend to see in a civilian hospital. But the reality is those patients actually have better outcomes.
The updated guidelines take cues from the military. Harlock says first, with this type of injury, doctors should screen and aggressively treat brain lesions, which are areas of the brain with damaged tissue. But he says that treatment should be a less invasive approach called endovascular surgery, which uses catheters to reach and repair damaged blood vessels. Finally, during the first surgery after injury, he says doctors should plug the wound to prevent fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord from leaking so that bacteria can't get in.
Recognizing that a lot of these patients can do well with aggressive care, I think that's probably the most important part.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Rockin' around the block. Who will be performing at this year's Burt Block Party?
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting High Valley.
The Burt Block Party is set to return to Winnipeg this summer, and we're getting our first look at the lineup. Engage, The Beaches, Colin James, and Collective Soul are among the leading acts. Other performers include Street Heart, Lights, and Paul Langlois of the Tragically Hip. With more acts still to be announced, this will be the 6th year of the concert series directly outside the Burton Cummings Theatre. The Block Party is set for August 13th to 17th, with thousands of fans anticipated each night. Tickets go on sale Friday online at Ticketmaster.ca. A classic hard rock double bill is also coming to Winnipeg. Sebastian Bach, the original voice of Skid Row, is coming to Club Region Events Center on June 17th. Bach was instrumental in hits such as 18 in Life, I Remember You, and many others, selling tens of millions of albums. The star will be joined by the American band Slaughter, who has toured with both Kiss and the late Ozzy Osbourne. Tickets go on sale Thursday at Ticketmaster.ca. A Cuban music power group is heading out on tour with a stop here in Winnipeg in the fall. The Buena Vista Orchestra is made up of a revolving cast of accomplished violinists, pianists, trumpeters, and others, and even some include Latin Grammy nominees. They're scheduled to play Burton Cummings Theatre October 25th. Tickets go on sale Friday through Live Nation. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be back as Conan the Barbarian. It is the role that launched his movie career more than 40 years ago.
Conan the Barbarian.
That's right. Schwarzenegger has confirmed that the new Conan the Barbarian movie is officially in the works. The movie is called King Conan and is written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie, also known for the Mission Impossible movies. No word yet on a release date. Coming up tonight on your primetime lineup, Will Trent starts things off at 7. High Potential follows at 8. Catch R.J. Decker at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
This colorful courtship ritual is getting a little help from some creative kids. We will explain when we return.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
-3, it's getting cloudy out there ahead of that snow that's on the way. There's not much to it. With the wind chill, it feels a touch cooler around -8 with those south-southwest winds. Highest temperature today was -3, normal high is -2. So a lot warmer than it was yesterday. Tonight, partly cloudy down to -16 degrees after that band of snow moves through. Mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday, -6, -1 on Thursday with the possibility of snow or flurries. Cloudy on Friday, -8, and then a cool weekend, but brighter too.
Thanks, Colleen. The artistic talents of some British youngsters are being used to help foster a critical and super cute penguin ritual at a UK zoo. Every year, penguins at the Edinburgh Zoo, all penguins actually, select and deliver stones in a nesting ritual to win over potential mates. Now, to spruce up the ceremony, kids from a local hospital hand-painted around 1,000 of the stones, and the penguins seemed suitably tickled pink over this. This is actually the 4th year of the creative collaboration, and the zoo says it helps the kids stay connected with nature even during a tough hospital stay. How fun. I want to go take this in.
Yeah, nice distraction too.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Great job, kids.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for us tonight. Maybe some snow?
A little bit next hour or two, and then it zips on out.
Yeah, hopefully we're almost done with that stuff. Have a good night.